This story begins in 1960, when a young man named Uri Geller appeared on American and British TV channels and performed something that no normal human could ever do. This man claimed that his mind was so powerful that by using its strength, he could do anything. Yes, anything literally meant anything, and the viewers were left in shock. Well, he bent metal objects using only the power of his mind. Spoons would soften in his hands, keys twisted with just a light touch of his finger, and compasses would move simply by his command. But the most astonishing of all was his ability to draw pictures that he had never even seen before. A volunteer would secretly sketch something in front of him, and Geller would attempt to recreate it using his special powers. Even though his drawings were never perfectly identical, they were so close to the originals that people were left stunned. But here the real question arises. How could a human being possibly do this? These were only Uri Geller's stage performances. And as you continue watching this video, you too will be left amazed by his mysterious feats. Who is Uri Geller? And does he really have superhuman powers? Or is this nothing more than an elaborate trick? Welcome back once again to Aflair Videos. Uri Geller was born in 1946 in the city of Tel Aviv, Palestine, a place which today is part of Israel. When Geller was just 6 years old, one day his mother gave him a bowl of soup and a spoon. It was an ordinary day, but not for long, because as soon as Geller picked up the spoon to drink his soup, the spoon suddenly broke and fell into the bowl. At first, his mother thought it was just a weak spoon, but when the same thing happened again a few days later, Uri began to suspect. Maybe it wasn't the spoon's fault. Maybe he could do it again at will. In an interview, Uri revealed that he even demonstrated this trick to his school friends, and they were all shocked. Later, he discovered another strange ability. He could read people's minds. At the age of 18, he joined the Israeli army, and in 1967, during the Six-Day War, he was wounded. After leaving the army, he began performing at small parties and nightclubs in Israel, using his mysterious powers to earn a living. At first, many people assumed he was just a clever street magician, using sleight of hand to fool the audience. But no one could figure out his tricks. Geller insisted he wasn't a magician, but a psychic, someone who could turn the impossible into possible through the power of his mind. Later, he moved to America, where he gained massive media attention. Most Americans came to know him in the late 1960s and early 1970s, when he began appearing on famous TV shows and in magazines. On live television, he would bend spoons effortlessly with his fingers. Viewers were shocked when spoon heads snapped off and fell to the floor right before their eyes. Sometimes during shows, he would tell the audience, "If your wristwatch has stopped working, take it off, hold it in your hand, and I will restart it using my mind." To everyone's surprise, many people claimed their watches really did start ticking again. By 1972, the media craze around Uri Geller had grown so intense that even the scientific community took notice. Researchers at the Stanford Research Institute wondered, if this man really has superhuman powers, why not study him under controlled laboratory conditions? When they asked Geller to participate, he happily agreed. For the next 5 weeks, 2 researchers, Harold Puthoff and Russell Targ, conducted a series of strange experiments with him. The first test involved hidden drawings. Some sketches were sealed inside envelopes. Geller was asked to reproduce the drawings without ever seeing them. Incredibly, most of his sketches were strikingly accurate. Simple in style, yes, but astonishingly close to the originals. The researchers were stunned. It was beyond belief. Next, they tested his ability of dowsing, the power to sense hidden objects without seeing them. 10 aluminum boxes were placed before him. Only one contained an object, but not even the researchers knew which box it was. A third party had secretly hidden the item. One box had ball bearings, another magnets, a third one had water, and a fourth had sugar. Geller was asked to identify them without touching. At first, he took his time, hovering his hands above each box. But as the experiments continued, his confidence grew. Eventually, he could walk into the room and immediately point out the correct box. And once again, he was right. Every time, he performed a similar feat on the famous Carson Tonight show, and once again, he was shockingly accurate. The scientists were amazed. They calculated that the probability of guessing correctly so many times by chance was 1 in trillions. Another test involved a dice placed inside a sealed metal box. The box was shaken. Uri was asked, "When the lid opens, which number will be on top?" This test was repeated 10 times. Twice he refused to answer, but the other 8 times, he was 100% accurate. However, his metal-bending demonstrations in the lab were less successful. When asked to bend objects without touching them, he failed. But when allowed to touch lightly, he bent spoons and rods. Those scientists dismissed it as inconclusive. One unusual experiment, though, did succeed. A steel weight was placed on an electric scale and covered with glass. Without touching, Geller managed to alter the scale's readings. A truly bizarre result. In their final report, the Stanford researchers wrote that Uri Geller had performed so successfully that further scientific study was warranted. They even gave his phenomenon a name, the Geller effect. Geller's fame skyrocketed. He became a regular on TV shows and magazines. People saw him as a supernatural superstar, but not everyone was convinced. Enter James Randi, a magician who claimed that Geller's feats were nothing more than sleight of hand. Randi demonstrated how spoons and keys could be bent through simple tricks, and he explained each step to his audience. He insisted, "I'm not here to disgrace Uri Geller. I just want to prove this is not paranormal. It's just magic." His popularity has faded, and perhaps his powers too. But sometimes, if he's in the right mood, he still bends spoons or moves compasses, just to amuse. Recently, some videos suggest he might be using magician's tricks, like fake thumbs, but no solid proof has ever emerged to declare him a complete fraud. He even owns a 1976 Cadillac, covered with thousands of bent spoons and forks, many of which were once used by famous people around the world. So what do you think about Uri Geller's mysterious abilities? Tell me in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this Aflair video. Don't forget to like and share. See you in the next one.